All right, started, brother. So hold on a second. Let me
Who give a fuck about who on a fancy crew? That's no big
go to the live bit.
Soda with her drawers down quarter. The ex-daughter brings slaughter like, well, I order. I suggest you hand over the formula dealer. A villain in your name, and his man a ruler. Hard hitting like I'm from the ruler with lieutenant or hooler. Any day it feel like it's an off day. The Ferris Bueller.
This shit go hard, man.
No matter how you spell it, you still got beats to check the question how we live. Question what we give, take it to the next.
Type in, hit them likes when you come in the building.
Still ain't judge, but they be butt ass. Twist that wig like a puppet. Keep it simple, can't trust it. Lights the fuel, might need the tool. Drink jack, kick back, drop jewel. Finish what I start, master the art. Live in hell, can't explain it. Inhale, confuse it more. Cop the 4-4, contemplate, meditate, dictate, I direct.
Man, this playlist is nasty, man.
Can I say shit? Do it for Kyle Rock, do it for K-Nick. R.I.P. K-N-I-T, sub-R-O-C.
Hang on, y'all. We'll be on in a second.
Only we save we.
I just want to hear the rest of his lyrics. All right, man. Turn it down a little bit.
I take a look at my life and pace trails from top leaking savage females and fake males.
All right, y'all. What's up? What's up, gang? This your boy, your brother, man, Big D, man, Darren Marion, Blerdplanet.com. Hotel SEO, Darren Marion, motivational speaker. Look it up. You'll find me there, man. All right. Hey, we got my man. What's your name, brother?
My name is Brother Kansu. Sesmu Moon. Blerdplanet.com. Financial Guru, Aboriginal Consulting. 7-figure portfolio of businesses built and structured. No games. Let's get it.
Oh man, no, you playing about this shit.
No playing, brother. No games.
Right on, man. Right on. So as the thumbnail reads, or the topic of discussion of the day is building relationships via social media. Now I know we're gonna have some other people that's gonna pop up in the building, but right now I just wanted to kind of get it started, man. Have us on here and kind of talk about it, man.
Okay.
So,
right.
I know I work a lot with social media. Actually, my company, man, is one of the top social media companies in Indiana. I don't know if you knew that or not, man. We're one of the tops, man. So I see a lot of relationships. We build business relationships all the time via social media. But as I kind of watch, and as I watch the YouTube streets, as I learned about YouTube as a platform for information, I see that people use this platform for various and nefarious reasons and processes. And it really it's kind of amazing to me how people you have this opportunity to build these legitimate good relationships, but you're spending time basically on fuckery. You know what I'm saying? What you got to say about that, Consul?
It's going to be a need for social release some kind of way. And social media initially was social interaction, man. And then eventually, over a period of time, it matriculated into just some fuckery. Only because everybody wants what they want and not looking at the other perspective. So what happens in day-to-day life is just matriculated. People enroll into what happens on the cyberspace internet. I think it's great, controversy or not, because I'm just not emotionally invested in it. I see it as a business. I don't see it as real life. You know what I mean? No.
Kind of, man. Kind of. I think, I see it for the business opportunities. And actually, me and my sister kind of got into it about this because my position used to be like that. Used to be the same thing. It's like, hey, it's not real life. I see it as a business. Yeah. And me and my sister kind of got into it about that, man. And she was like, no, you need to look at it as a little bit more because you're connecting. Obviously, if you're doing it a certain way. you're connecting, and yeah, man, it makes the business work go better if you're able to connect that way. Something that I like on social media, man, is like I like being like this. I like, what's up, real?
What up, real? What's happening? What's good?
Can you hear?
You
Hey
can
y'all.
come. You can come. You coming on live now? It's live.
You know what I'm saying? You might hot.
Yeah, we hot.
So right now,
Yes.
basically what we talked about, what I mentioned is social media is really cool. It's a good way
Hey
to
y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I think I have a bad connection, so I'm gonna hang up and call right back.
okay.
All
Sorry if
right.
I'm interrupting her.
Nah, you good. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun.
what was you saying now, bro?
All right, man. So yeah, so I see it as a business opportunity. I saw it as a business opportunity that it was, but I started to see kind of how you could leverage a lot of the tools that people normally would use for business, and you could invest in relationships.
Right, right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's as real as you want to make it. It just so happens that a lot of people don't want to make it. They don't want to be real, man. I think that's part of life, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that part I agree with. In an idealistic way, yeah. But when you bring in the term fuckery, it's artificially. The fuckery is excitement,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or imagination, or uh, groupthink, or culture shock. That's big business. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Associated Press. Associated Press don't go looking for positive stuff. They looking for gut wrenching, negative, depressive things to market and sell in news, because news isn't free market. How do we know this? Because advertisement is attached to it. Anything with advertisements attached to it, it's going to have some type of marketing vehicle in it. It's going to have some type of commercial vehicle in it. So even if it's a small advertisement, we know that's a telltale sign that it's directed to a demographic precisely. So yeah, man, I think the internet is a wonderful exchange of social. Though. I'm glad it's here. I do think it's a wonderful exchange of social media, but I do believe the fuckery aspect you talking about is a byproduct of marketing. It's like, yeah, we know that socially people don't get along, so we're gonna enhance that just a tad bit. And you get some people like when the title in the video, let me add just a little bit of fuckery in the title because I know you're gonna click. If it was boring, then I'm not gonna click. You know. And I think that's overall a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing because, like you said, man, building relationships via social media is like key because you get to meet so many people, dynamic relationships you would never have. So yes, sir, I am a proponent of building these relationships. Must say.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Hey, what's going on, real? How you doing? You want to introduce yourself?
Hey folks. Yep. It's okay. Real life is not a cyberspace. I'm driving. I hope my sound is okay. Is it?
Yeah, you're
Yeah, it's
perfect.
actually really good. Yeah.
Yeah, you're perfect.
Excellent, because y'all are breaking up just a little bit, but it's enough for me to make out what's being said. So I heard two things so far regarding marketing fuckery and the nature of building relationships off social media. So am I on the right track here?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a lot to say. Let me just start with this. I don't know what's been said already, but with regard to social media, right? So a lot of that is used as kind of like I guess, a stand-in for actual socialization. So I think a lot of the speed is kind of off, and like the timing belt is kind of different, as opposed to how people meet people, I guess, generally speaking, in real life or whatever. So, to me, I found that to be really fascinating. It's kind of the thing that jumps out in my mind the most. So you know, everybody's kind of like, there's this world where it's like, there, we understand there's anonymity there. It's obvious, right? For a number of different reasons. But when you, okay, two things, right? So then there's dating sites, right? That's kind of internet meeting. But then there's social media and people meeting off of that. That's the one I'm concentrating on, because the heading is not dating, right? It's like, whatever, we're just here. So people are feeling sparks of connection in places, or in more subtle ways than they would in other places, I would say, like real life or something, right? And then in the dating situation, it's obvious that that's the ultimate goal. So the MO is to say, hey, well, do you know, I want to show you who I am, do you like me or whatever. Social media, that's not necessarily the MO, right? But I think a lot of people are more, I don't know, maybe, I'm still thinking so much, maybe. So perhaps there's that naturality, which is to a higher degree, which is making people feel like they're bonding and or bonding at a more intense rate. But let me just stop right there and see what y'all think about that.
You want to shoot concert?
No, go ahead, Brother Baron, because I got
Right
it.
on. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think it does. It can accelerate the whole process, especially when you have things like Facebook, where you see actually Facebook kind of tells you, it lays out everything about a person. Their relationship status, who their mama is, who their daddy is, who their brothers sisters are. So there's really it's difficult to hide if you're if you're somebody who's genuine. Does that make sense? It's difficult to hide kind of who you are.
Absolutely.
And I think that when people decide to hide who they are, that's when you start to have those issues. So I think it's almost it's a the personal decision is really, it's about honesty. So
Yes, definitely. My experience with I mean, in the sense of like, when it comes to honesty, I think people kind of really want that in their lives, and I think social media does give people a chance to kind of do that on a different level than in real life, because obviously there are a lot of pre-existing relationships in real life. People like, I know you, you know what I mean? So they can't if they start changing up who they are, even to a smaller degree, even if it's really more who they are, so to speak, than the person they've been presenting to the people in their lives. You know, people get resistance with stuff like that. You know, it's like when people grow and evolve, it's like, what's wrong with you? Oh, you don't eat that anymore? You know, things like this, right? On social media, you get to kind of, and I say this because I feel like a lot of men do this. They tend to want to present this situation of who they aspire to be or something. I want to use that kind of loosely, but that's pretty much where I'm going, versus where they actually are. And I mean, to some extent, I can't say that anything's wrong with that. I just think that that might have some sort of a veil of dishonesty over communication, maybe, depending on the person.
wow, it's perceptive, man. Communication rules the nation. So again, that's the first thing I say, man. Is communication rules the nation, and that's
Just
why
like me, I'm getting like 12 calls at one time. Yeah.
it rules the nation, man. Communication rules the nation, man. And I think that when you have platforms, like like YouTube, Facebook, where you're able to connect live to somebody, Skype, you're able to connect live. Like before this call, I was on a call with somebody. He's in Stratfordshire, England, England, man. And he just sent me some content and said, hey, man, hey, I was just thinking about you. I want you to check this story out. And it's something that I never would have met this guy before. And we've
Right.
actually been able to help each other, kind of, there's been a similar relationship to help each other grow, to grow our businesses. And it's kind of like a business is his own entity. So, it's almost like it's it's the economy of social. If you use it as a good economy, if you understand economics, I think that may help drive things.
Right.
You know,
That's my whole thing. That's where I'm at. The economy of it all. Because I mean, economy is almost like Taoism. Economy forces us to make choices that we wouldn't normally make out of scarcity. Once you want to accomplish the first rule of economics, you control everything else from that point. If I can make your sociability scarce, which is have you drawn into the Facebooks, the YouTube, the Instagrams, the Snapchats, and you're not interacting with real people out there, I got you. Because now you counted on me for sociability. And that's going to change the demographics and the economics. If I can control your emotions from a computer, I win. From a television, I win. From a radio, I win. From a cell phone, I win. If I'm the owner of the technology, I'm like, oh shit. You want to be angry? Shit, here goes some fresh angry for 99 cents. I got happy for $1.29. I got excitement for 52 cents. I mean, you're gonna do it for free anyway. You're gonna be mad for free. You're gonna be happy for free. So if I can get paid to make you either one of those, and it's inevitable that you're gonna do it, then I'm gonna capitalize on it. I'm gonna market it. I hate her. News at 11. Oh shit. He said hate. And he said, he can talk about her, y'all. Let's go find out what her is about and why he hates it. Click.
We lost K.
It's all good.
Yeah. Nah, man. So yeah, I dig it, man. Oh, she's back. There you go.
Shout out
Sorry.
to Melanated Agenda. Shout out.
You know what I'm saying? Melanated Jen's in the house, saying what's happening. We know you're in a spotty, in a spotty area, so you know what I'm saying, driving through the Rockies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Driving through the Rocky Mountains.
Drive safe, man. Drive safe. Don't
you know what I'm saying?
Put the phone on the seat. You ain't got the man. Please drive safe.
Thank you. I'm
It's
safe.
perilous.
Thank you.
Perilous area.
Yes. Got to keep our loved ones in order, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
That's how. So we were talking about, kind of associating a value. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Melanated has a comment. Not being emotionally invested is a way to compartmentalize. Wow. Social media. That doesn't work. I got tongue twisted, so I can pronounce the word, man. Social media. That just doesn't work for most people. It's one element that isn't on the periodic table. The human element. Wow, how perceptive is that?
Wow.
I missed a lot of that.
I think you're cheating. You're cheating yourself without, by not coming emotionally invested. You got this platform, man. There's this way to connect to people, man. If you don't become emotionally in it, then how can you be human with it, man? You're totally a machine, man.
Well, that's the thing. It's inevitable. It's almost like what Thanos talks about. It's inevitable. You are going to be emotional.
Thanos.
If I'm a franchiser,
ears be ringing. Everybody stays talking about him. Sorry.
Yeah. If I'm an emotional marketer, if I sell emotion for a living, not only am I gonna own McDonald's emotion for 99 cents, I'm gonna own Burger King emotion for 99 cents. Because inevitably you're gonna eat some. I'm gonna control your choice. I don't care about the product. I can sell water to a whale. If my mechanism covers all choices, I win. And I win to a point that then I give it back to the public and I go build something else. In business, we call it the IPO. That's what we call it, where I get all that liability off my back once its equity is used up. So I put it on the stock market and I get other people to buy into it. Why? It limits my liability and I reap the benefits, like Google buying YouTube. At one point, YouTube was on its own. It ran its course, sold it to Google.
So in social media, how's that IPO? How does that work?
Oh man, whew. It works from an advertising aspect. Like if one knows what an IPO is, when you have a company that pushes an IPO or creates an IPO, they're at a level where they're trying to cut the fat. So in social media, it's when who owns Instagram and Facebook, because Facebook owns Instagram. It appears different, but they both own each other. Because Facebook, once it became a public invested company, started creating other ventures and tying in it joint ventures. So the initial public offering was invest in Facebook. Look what we got here. We got these tentacles reaching out. We got Facebook. Now we got Instagram. Now we got WhatsApp. Facebook owns WhatsApp. So all of these things are integrated. It adds value to the platform. Because now, and integrated with the search engines, everything, if you're searching something on Google, just give it time to matriculate, and the same items you were looking for are going to show up on your Facebook page. They'll eventually show up on your YouTube page.
Facts.
You are in a matrix of commercialization. And so it's ingenious. I think it's effective, though, because it equally works to the positive. I'm not downing it. I think it works great when used effectively. And it is. I wish that more of us would be able to capitalize on that power. Like you say, the fuck shit. Why would you do the fuck shit for free? That's what I don't get. But
because people need gross amounts of attention.
Well, say it.
Gross amount.
That was simple.
Yeah, it's just obscene.
That was like simple genius. Yeah.
People need people need gross amount of attention.
Yeah, it's like those people you see. I hope I'm not busting into what you're saying, Constant.
Oh man, no, go ahead.
This morning. Okay, I saw this woman. I'm not gonna mention any names, but she's blowing a gasket or two because she's so upset because she's crying. She starts to cry because she feels that all of the energy she's expending upon the message that she's supposedly trying to bring forth on social media. It's like, yo, calm down. First of all, you know how many people.
Man, you're breaking up.
That serious trying to spread messages. Nobody on her, right? Oh shit. Okay.
Damn.
Is that okay? No?
Man, she's saying some deep stuff too.
I'll come back.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
I'll come back. I'm gonna hang up and come back. Sorry.
Oh, you good. There was a movie I saw with I think it was Dallas Bryce Howard, and it was about basically people were rated on their social. And I think that's something they're doing in China right now. They're starting to rate people or give people a score based on their social media. It's like a social media index. Do you see things going to that? How tied their relationships are? So if let's say this person, go ahead, sis.
Hey, I think I'm back on that.
Yep, you good.
Okay. So she's crying, right? Like at first she starts out explaining. I'm not sure what was heard and what wasn't, but she starts out explaining how this is like that the message that she's trying to spread is not being heard. Now I don't know what type of feedback she's expecting for that to be like the case, right? Does she want to shift in the world sociability? Like, what is she looking for to give her that proof that her so-called message has been spread? But guess what? When you go back into her archives, she ain't got shit to say. Her message is her opinion. Beautiful. I mean, I'm not angry at that, but it's really no different from what a lot of people are discussing because they want to be trendy, right? They want their channels to pop. So they're automatically forcing themselves into this bracket to talk about certain things and to talk about in a certain way, right? Which is kind of like that idea of like, oh, I hate her or whatever. Like, ooh, he said hate. Ooh, he said I, right? Yeah. So she's literally becoming a blubbering mess because she's upset, so-called, and this comes to my point, she's upset because nobody's hearing her message. Now, like I said before, I don't know what type of empirical proof she's looking for with that. So really, what is she really crying about, right? What is she really upset about? So she starts breaking down and crying. Now, I turned it off because I was like so disgusted. So I think like that attention is seen in so many different ways. Like everybody likes attention. I'm not going to say that, that's pathological, but when it gets to the point where people are willing to embarrass themselves at certain levels, it's not venting at that point. It's making a minstrel show of her own. Maybe that's the wrong term. Sorry. Let me take the race factor out of it. It's making she's like the court jester. Why? Because she's upset about something and nobody can experience things in private anymore. Privately, and I'm saying a lot of things at once, but this one video reminds me of all those things crashing together. Meanwhile, this is supposed to be a so-called respectable woman. Now, I mean, and I'm even saying that she's a respectable woman from what I can tell. But that baby that needs to be like soothed is the one that keeps coming out with these people in their social media platforms for like what 75 views. I'm not dissing their views, but these are the same people saying my message is not going out. Like, really, your methodology doesn't fit the fact that that's really what you want to do there. But I just want to stop right there.
Damn, you dropping gems, man. You dropping gems. You know what I'm saying? Well, kind of going back to where I was at, where I was talking about, the social score. So again, China's got, starting to get people based on their social, how active they are with social media, what type of relationships they're building via social media, um, really, so they can kind of as an advertising dollar. So that person's advertising spend is worth that much more to put some information in front of them. Then you wonder with people who are trying to get a message out, what their social score actually looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And how do is it something that, are you going to place a greater weight on different social platforms? So, hey, if I'm somebody that's really connected through Facebook, that means that my score is 90 out of 100. If I'm somebody that's kind of connected on YouTube, you know, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Mm. It does. It makes sense. I'm listening now, processing. But yeah, that makes sense. It does make sense, man. I mean, again, speaking even what Real is saying, yeah, it's a social need. So yeah, things are going to have more priority. They're going to have a certain social score, a certain weight. All of these things are valid. But my thing is, I think it's a correlation to actual health, to actual mental health. A lot of people will not accept that 98% of us, and I think I'm being nice, suffer from some type of mental condition. I think I'm being nice. I really do. With the fuckery that's promoted around the world, most of us can got some fucked up shit going on mentally.
Yeah.
And we think intelligence is the band-aid. That's the byproduct. Because you're getting a lot of intel, but there's no compassion, there's no empathy, there's that human interaction that all mammals have. We tend to have the least of it because we the most dominant species on the planet. And we kill the most. And we just do shit that destroys our environment effortlessly, like 5G. Hey, 5G could probably fuck you up. Will my internet be faster? Let's go with it. Hurry up, put it out. It's kind of weird how we think of things, and it is very, very important that we look at those things because it does limit human sensibility. I think the sensibility of life, the delicacy of life. When you never know, you might click on one day to see somebody's head gets blown, like live, and
That's very, I mean, shit, we've seen that, man, right? I
yeah,
mean, Philando Castile, we've seen that shit, man. That's real.
that'll like desensitize you to it, or it'll disgust you beyond understanding.
Yes, especially that last one. Well, both of them, but yeah, that last one is really like in every arena that discussed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
You start to even, I mean, I found myself even becoming insensitive to like emotions on a, like in real life, not to people I'm close with, but like, let's say like the people in the store who are acting like the people on social media, whatever that means, right? Like being extra loud or whatever, extra ignorant, like my IRE gets much higher at a quicker level. I've had zero patience with that to begin with, but now they're reminding me of somebody that like, I might have just seen or something like that, and YouTube, I think, is really seriously different than the other social media platforms. I mean, it just feels different. That's one, right? And two, I don't know. I mean, I don't really look at Facebook Live stuff or anything like that. So I guess it would be about the same nature. But when I see people streaming from like Instagram Live on YouTube, that even has a different feel. So there's something kind of like very interesting about the fact that every little thing has to be shared and felt with everybody. A, for more popularity, and B, for more transparency. So it makes you wonder, like, how absent is this in general for people? This idea of sharing their emotions and having people listen. You have a completely passive audience, unless you have people calling in, right? They have to listen to you if they're there. So in the mind of the person, you know, they're like, who knows how many people they're picturing with their ears peaked to listen to what they're saying. So in their mind, they've got this real captive audience who's giving them their undivided attention and listening to them. Finally, maybe, I don't know, you know.
Yes,
Most definitely.
exactly. Most definitely, man. My question is so we know that, you know, there's a lot of fuckery that goes on, and we know that people have difficulty, you know, kind of presenting themselves as to the real person and who they are via social. What is a good way that someone, if you wanted to go out, if you wanted to start to build legitimate, genuine relationships via social, what are some good steps?
Always be yourself in everything you do. It's not going to always look the same, or it's not always going to be pretty, right? But if you stick by your authenticity, and check yourself when you realize that you're becoming like a pod, right? So, like, for example, everybody and their mothers on YouTube talking about disingenuous. Oh my gosh, she's so disingenuous. Like, the second somebody hears that word come out their mouth, they should be checking those. Like, wait a minute, why did I just say that? Is it a word that just came to you, or is it because I'm always hearing it? Like, you always have to constantly keep inventory in order to keep that authenticity. But I mean, to me, that's going to be the answer for anything being true and you know, deeply enjoyable, is if it's authentic, coming from how you're starting it off. Like, who are you when you're coming into a situation? Are you faking jacks because of whatever, or are you saying, like, you know, this is not really going to be about anybody else except for me because I'm the one doing it, until it does become having to do with somebody else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I think, yeah, the kind of giving the person the opportunity to choose with transparency, being transparent, you know, as much as possible. And just allowing the choice to be an organic choice and not a socially engineered. I think if the choice is natural, then it's more palatable. But when it's kind of cloak and dagger kind of stuff, it just creates false paradigms that can fester a little bit. I want to give a shout out to the creator, I can't remember her name, of like Love and Hip Hop, because that niche right now is generating billions of revenue easily. Reality, ratchet TV with a certain ethnic overtone is at an all-time high now. Mona Scott, man, what they devised has branched out into so many quasi type of things. And even in YouTube now, we got Black YouTube. We got the manosphere. We got all of these things that are like microcosms of false dichotomies.
Wow.
It's like, oh, whoa, man. Life, it is not black and white. Life is not black and white. It's not yes or no. There's a whole lot of gray areas in there. And I think for wholesome interaction on social media, that stuff needs to be transparent. Just like the show, I don't know how many people are really going to appreciate, pat on the Blerd's back, the show on algorithm. If I'm sitting there telling you that the YouTube channel is an algorithmic search engine that optimizes its search through keywords, don't you think some of this is fake? I'm just saying.
Right, exactly.
I mean, transparency helps, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. That's why I like social proof, man.
Man, real talk. Real.
That's how it happens. Social proof, man.
Mhm.
You know, yeah. Social proof is a vote by people who social proof is a like. Social proof is a share. Social proof is a follow. You know, that's social proof.
Can I give an example? I want to say something really quick, man.
Yeah, go for it, bro.
I remember when I went to Ghana, and it's over here. It's jihadist this, jihadist whoop, blah blah blah, Muslim this, the Muslims blew up that, watch the Muslims, all that stuff. Islam in Africa is so peaceful, man. The news is totally different coming from another source. So you go, dang, I'm listening to this source and I'm thinking it's credible, it's certified. It's my source. It's Associated Press. It's CNN. You trust it. And then when you go to the definite article in areas of Ghana that's so dangerous and all that, it's not, man. Like people talk about Chicago, Chirac. Do I look like I'm ducking bullets? Do y'all hear bullets in the background? No. But it's Chirac.
Exactly.
It's not Chirac. You know what I'm saying? It's just people go off on these tangents, man.
Those are excellent points, especially when it comes to that fake and then segueing into what you just said, because the propaganda about Africa is really strange to me, how that's kind of come up out of nowhere. And the people who talk about it, they're so adamant about it. Meanwhile, the ones who really concentrate on it, they've not even been there. It's like, what are you basing this on? But then that whole like manosphere thing, for example, thing you brought up, 9 times out of 10, when I ask the question, when I first hear about this term, like, what is this thing? And I'll just start asking people, like, what's the manosphere? I can never get a straight answer, ever. To this day, I still don't know what the manosphere is. I mean, I know who's a part of it or something. It's almost like the conscious community, too. I mean, what is that? Are they people who have
Black
woken
conscious
up?
community.
Are we sure? Like, because I'm listening to a lot of them speak. They don't sound awake to me. So I mean, there are a lot of just kind of like fake concepts put there, and that has to be fake. That has to be infused. That's why I kept asking when I first came to YouTube, because I'm still very new to YouTube, especially in this interactive level, where it's like, who made up these terms? Like, and again, who is the first person to use it? Nobody can tell me. Like, nobody knows. That's strange when you hear a lot of people speaking the same language, A, and B, pushing these concepts like as if their lives depend on them.
Yeah, you do have kind of like dichotomy phenomena. Like you have Ibmore. Ibmore is the introspective Black men of reform, and they deal with self-study and self-improvement. So they desire eventual removal of both white supremacy and Black matriarchy in the Black community. And then you have MGTOW, which is men going their own way, which is basically the European equivalent of Ibmore. And without being transparent, like you say, they use a whole lot of hyperbole, and they're not direct as to what it is that actually, what is it? They don't, and it's all manosphere rhetoric, but they don't clarify it so that it can be critiqued and given introspection upon the critique. And that's where the social media stuff can kind of become, it can kind of break down. Like on this level, yeah, an idealistic understanding, yeah, the benefactor is always going to be the creators of that stuff, the marketers. But then when it starts matriculating to us, by the time it gets to us, it's very complex because it's placed in the dichotomy box, each of those things. And you have the equivalents of, on the feminine perspective, you have the equivalents of Ibmore and MGTOW, you know, just not in groups, because men tend to be alpha pack, wolf type people. Women tend to be Joan of Arc, isolate people. So you have an isolate Cynthia G and a wolf pack angry man. And you just see the dichotomies being created that cater to some degradation. And that's when it becomes unhealthy. In my opinion, my limited research, I suspect that that's when it becomes kind of. But when initially it's healthy. As long as you are as healthy and stable at home, I still think it's healthy. You should watch Ibmore. You should watch Cynthia T. Watch the Angry Mans. Watch all that stuff. It gives you good perspective. As long as you got a healthy home and a healthy mind, you can handle it. But you need to be real with yourself. Go get some psychological treatment. When you know when something wrong with your head, man. You got some issues.
Did you hear that, man? I'm gonna step away for a quick second, man.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, everybody, I think we still alive. We still alive? Yes. So these counterproductive things, they can get kind of obtrusive, because if you're just naturally not healthy, then these things can affect you. So think about your home, how you operate going from work to and fro. Just think about those things, man. Really, really think about those things, because it can be detrimental to how you eat this kind of psychological food. It can be detrimental to that. Let's see if I got questions in the chat. Let's see. What's up, T Duck or T Dudek? Let's see. Okay, no questions.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all. I'm back.
No questions in the chat.
I know Beasley said that they lacking Mac bones. So you gotta respect that, man. So you gotta respect that. He's talking about Macking. So I know I got a call. I got to jump on y'all, and I really appreciate Real K stopping in today in the building and giving kind of her input. Giving her blurred perspective. We appreciate everybody commenting for giving their blurred perspective, and continue to drink. You see, I'm drinking smart water, so I got to stay. I even drink smart.
Lemon, lime, and mint, guys. Water. Yes. A little absolute in there, just a little. No, I'm joking.
Absolutely. Thank you so much today, y'all. And remember, man, be a blur, man, because everybody knows a lot about something, man. So flex your lot unless it's some bullshit. Don't flex that at all. All right. Peace out.
Peace out.